Okay, everybody, long time no talk to. Sorry about that. I haven't really been up for it. But in any event, here's what the tank looks like about a week before it'll be totally redone. So I removed a lot of the manzanita and let the plants kind of grow wild just to see what was going on. So I'll zoom in and show you. So over here on the right, I removed all the manzanita burls and I planted some nice plants that I got from Tom. That red, I think it's a Rotala in the front. The aromatic is mine, as well as the stargrass there. Here's the poor Monte Carlo that Tom sent me months ago now. You see how well that did. As opposed to my ET, which, as usual, is doing quite nicely, growing mountainous as usual. Here's another nice small leaf plant that Tom sent me, is doing well as well. So that's in there. There's some more of that pretty red one he sent me. I got a bunch of Hygro Araguae in the back. There, that's doing nicely. And all my cardinals are also doing nicely, if I may say so. A couple of my rummies, as they go by, they'll go to a friend of mine who's been eyeing them up for a long time. You can see there's that red plant that Tom sent me. It's really nice. The aromatic is a little young, but it's a little well. Here are some water wisteria, just a little bit I planted a few weeks back. And it's kind of done well, so I've always liked this plant. I think it's really attractive. It grows well in a wide variety of conditions, and it's, as you can see, it's really nice. You know, you can grow it in a substrate, as you can see here. I have yet to trim it, so theoretically I would, make it shorter than it is now. But I'm just, another week or so it'll all be different, so it doesn't matter what happens now. So you can see, the tree in there. I covered it up, again, well, with all that growth. And you see some Java Trident back there. And as we come around the corner, here you see I have some sort of Bacopa. I can't remember what type it was. But I've let that go, and that looks really attractive, so I don't know if we could use that in any one of the three scapes. You can see more wisteria all around it. And here is that golden Nisea. You can see, if you look, you don't have to look that hard, but you can see GSA and BBA on it. And I trimmed, you see all those bare stems, that's where I trimmed the worst of the leaves. I'm still not done yet, but, I had been sick for a few weeks and did no dosing of any type or any water changes for like 3 weeks. So I had CO2, but that's what happens. So it's not too bad though, considering, so I think in a couple of weeks, give it some TLC, it'll be fine. So there's some Java Trident, and there's some Wind of Love that is growing out. And here is some Stargrass that I bought at the same time as the Wisteria. And you can see some BGA or BBA, GSA, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know anymore, but the good growth far outweighs the poor. I trimmed a lot of this, but obviously I still have a bit to go. I was actually just trying to see what would happen. And there's that Araguaia, doing very well, very nice plant. Here is the Java Fern that I had sent to Tom, that he now sent me back a big chunk. I think that's pretty funny. Here's some sort, I think that's Lutea, I'm not sure, that I bought at the same time as Wisteria and stuck it back here. And here's a close-up of that Limnophilia. And also another, let's see, Ludwigia or Rotala, the Tom sent. I'm not sure what it is, honestly. But it was attractive, and it's trying to it gives me some indication that things aren't totally horrible in the tank, condition-wise. So what'll happen is this weekend I'll probably remove all of the ADA substrate that's bare, including that poor Monte Carlo that never took. So that'll all be gone, and then the only substrate will be that underneath the plants. I'll probably also trim this ET, but so because it's about ready to start floating away. You can see the roots in there. And you can see how tall it is. It's actually really pretty funny the way it grows on itself. But I love the color and the texture of the plant. It's just beautiful. And some of the stuff Tom sent me is really nice too. So hopefully we'll be able to do something with it. Here's some Pennywort, of course, growing up top. Never have too much of that. And there I let some stargrass and some moss and all sorts of stuff growing there. There you can see the bulbitis, with some new stems coming out underneath in the total shade. There's a nice big bed of moss in there. I saw some of the dwarf cichlids in there the other day. Maybe hopefully they're doing their thing in there, but it looks really nice. It looks, with all the moss just covering it. I really like that look. All right, so that's it. Here's the fish. Get a close up of some of my cardinals. They look pretty reasonably happy. So this is, right in the middle of the photo period. So CO2 is theoretically been on for, I don't know, what is it, for at least 4 to 6 hours, and that's about it. So just give you a long view here, right? And then you can see the surface ripple that I have going on. I've been talking about it with Tom, and I don't like seeing my fish stressed out at all with CO2. So I tend to oversupply surface ripple, and he and Tom and I, and also Henry as well, have had discussions about just the size of my surface area, that it might be degassing a lot of CO2 simply due to size. So that's also a consideration, even though you can see here my DIY Herbie, it's more or less quiet. There's not a whole lot of turbulence going on there. I really don't see where, my overflow is degassing. Sorry, I just don't see it. And then here's the sump. You can see there's not a whole lot of disturbance going on there, and there's where the water enters in over here, and it comes down these standpipes. So there's very little water disturbance other than the flow itself, and there's over the bio balls and the foam pad, and that's it. All right, later.